I can't sugarcoat this. If you saw the thumbnail for this video and still decided to click, then that is pretty sus. But also, thank you. A couple days ago, a really weird deck got a 5-0 in a Pauper league, so I thought today I would do a bit of trolling and bring it to a league myself. That's about it, but just remember, if you like this video and want to see more Pauper content, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much, and let's get right into the video. Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome in. My name is Royce, and today we're going to be taking a look at Dimir Serpentine Curve. So all credit for this deck goes to Antilectual on MTGO. They managed to pull off a 5-0 with this deck a couple of days before I'm recording this video, and it seems like they are a very strong Magic player in general. They have like 4 other 5-0s in Pauper leagues, all in October of this year. So kudos to them on their performance and on managing to bring this deck to a 5-0. So Serpentine Curve, as a card, is 3 and a blue. It's a sorcery. It reads, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is 1 plus the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. So naturally what we want to be doing in this deck is churning through our deck as quickly as possible to pile up instants and sorceries in there to grow up our Serpentine Curve fractal creature as large as possible. Notably, this is fixed at the amount that, at the size of the creature it is when you cast it. It doesn't grow as more instants and sorceries go into your graveyard and exile pile. Just a quick note. And there actually is a 2-card combo finish. There's a 1-of copy here in the deck of Rite of Consumption. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Rite of Consumption deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to target player or planeswalker. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. So that's a 6-mana 1/2 punch, win the game, as long as your Serpentine Curve is 20 damage or above. The rest of the deck is basically full of 2 things, and that is interaction and card draw. So in terms of card draw, we're playing for Brainstorm, Consider, Hard Evidence, which also gives you a chump blocker, a 0/3, really good against mono red. Frantic Inventory, which in the late game can start to draw quite a bit. Cycling from Suffocating Fumes, drawing from Behold the Multiverse, and drawing off of Lorien Revealed. And then in terms of interaction, it's just almost everything else in the deck. 1 copy of Dispel, just a 1-off. 4 copies of Counterspell. 3 copies of Cast Down. 1 copy of Extract a Confession. And then 3 board clears with 2 Suffocating Fumes and a Drown in Sorrow, as well as 4 copies of Snuff Out. So in my experience, the deck is actually pretty versatile and has answers to most of the things that are happening in the meta. So far, I'm not able to comment on the matchup spread or anything like that. I'm still pretty new to the deck. A couple of things that I've noticed are that oftentimes you will actually be casting Serpentine Curve for less than a 20/20, and that's okay. You can just treat this as a huge creature and sometimes even summon it as like a 10/10 with some protection from a counterspell or something like that, and then you're just beating them down and beating them in a couple of turns. You don't always have to hold this until it's a 20/20. That especially comes up in mono red. I'll sometimes cast this for like 7 or 8 power, and especially if I've sideboarded in a copy of Unexpected Fangs, that can really be a blowout and turn the game around in my favor. Against decks that have targeted discard, such as Duress, things like that, or Mesmeric Fiend, you can always hide your important combo pieces with Brainstorm. That hasn't come up a lot for me in practice just quite yet, but you don't really want to get your 1-of Rite of Consumption discarded, so you can hide that away with Brainstorm and access it again later. Speaking of Duress, it just made me think of Brood-Scale. I actually think that we have a pretty good Brood-Scale matchup, given that we are main decking Snuff Out, as well as Counterspells, Cast Downs, all of this great interaction to interrupt that combo deck. The sideboard is pretty straightforward. We are on 3 and all for Artifact decks, as well as Boggles and Heroic. We are on 5 total copies of Blue Blast. I don't have to tell you what that's for. It's the red decks, of course, Kuldotha and Rakdos Madness more than anything else. Lose Focus is good here as additional interaction basically against blue decks, but this is also pretty good against Gruul Ramp because you can actually counter their Cascade Initiator as well as the thing that they cascade into. A second Extract a Confession. This is good against terror decks. It's good against those hexproof decks that I mentioned earlier, and it's also actually pretty good against the 3/3 Indestructible Land in Affinity. I don't know if it's good enough for me to want to bring it in that matchup, but it could come up. Unexpected Fangs, again, for the Burn decks, and Drown in Sorrow for the Go Wide decks, which includes Burn as well as White Weenie. So that's the deck right there. Again, thank you to Antilectual for running this and bringing it to a 5-0 in the league. I'm really excited to try it out. This deck, I'm expecting to make a lot of opponents pretty salty with it, so we'll see if I get any comments in the in-game chat or anything like that. If so, I'll let you know. Otherwise, if you like this content, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscription. Y'all have been so awesome in helping me grow this channel over the last couple of weeks and couple of months, and it seems like we're only going up from here. So again, really appreciate it. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions when watching the video, and I'll be happy to try to respond to all of you. With all of that said, that's enough. I will see you in the games. Alright, we are in our first match of the league. It looks like we won the dice roll. So let's start. I think I can keep this. The deck only has 17 lands, which includes a bounce land, so I try to keep hands that aren't really doing much as long as we can sort of sculpt our hand, and we do have the ability to do that because of Brainstorm. The start that I'm looking for here is probably an island, and then I will consider Brainstorm versus Lorien Revealed. This also needs to make the opponent potentially play around Spell Pierce, whereas Contaminated Aquifer would not do that, and we're unlikely to need to snuff something out this early. Okay. The opponent is really contemplating their Fairy Seer Scry. Sequencing their turns 2 and 3, probably. 0 top, 2 bottom. Okay, fine. We will Island Cycle for an Aquifer. There's no reason to think that we need more fast blue mana right now. Let's just get our tap lands going. And then I will pass. And I think I'm going to Brainstorm right now because of potential Spell Stutter Sprite. And I will put back 2 lands. So there was an alternative where I could have Brainstormed at the beginning of the game and fixed my Brainstorm lock with Lorien Revealed. That's possible. I would go back and take a look at the game state at the beginning. I know that's often a good play, but I also don't mind having kind of a pile of lands in this deck, so let me know what you think. Like I said in the intro, this is not my first time. Okay, Boomerang, sure. Not my first time playing this deck, but I'm not super experienced with it either, so. Alright, I will just go ahead and play a tap land again, and pass. And then do I Brainstorm again? I think I have one. I think I am going to see an island and 2 unknowns if I Brainstorm. I could hold off. We'll see. Fairy Miscreant? Sure. Okay, so they've started to hold up Spell Stutter Sprite. I see. And it now counters a 3-mana card. Sure. No blockers. I think I should probably expect some ninjas. Let's Brainstorm again, see if it gets countered. It does not. Okay, and we have the Lorien Revealed to fix our draw. So I'm going to set an upkeep stop. Let's put away a couple of lands and Lorien Revealed in our upkeep. And I think I can just start taking islands with that. I am going to play an island and not a Contaminated Aquifer because I want to potentially hold up a counter spell or a cast down. Let's Island Cycle. We'll take an island. Play it. Oh, main phase. Play it, and we got another island. And pass. Let's clean up our hand here a little bit. It's a very dirtily deck. And success sort of depends on preventing the opponent's aggression, which might be difficult here. We'll see. Are they going to Ninja? They will Ninja. Okay, so they are below a Spell Stutter Sprite. So I can cast that down. We'll see if they have a Spell Pierce. I think they usually run 2 to 3 of them. Something like that. They could, okay, a Dispel, gotcha. I wonder how common that one is. They draw a card, fine. Let's see if we can find our, not our Suffocating Fumes, the board wipe. Okay, so if we island here, we can hold up Counterspell plus, but that's not really plus anything. I think at this point I want to play a tap land, and I want to start working towards drawing with this Lorien Revealed. We could have actually considered putting a 5/5 onto the board, and it would have been, yeah, it would have been a 5/5. That might have been the move. But they could Boomerang it and essentially kill my creature, and I would be putting it up without backup, so If they have the boomerang or the snap, I'm in trouble in that case. They're going to draw again off of the Ninja of the Deep Hours, which is not great. I'm sort of running low on stuff to do. I'll take this hit, and then they can... We both actually have sort of the virtue of playing on our opponent's turn, but they have the ability to pressure me. Fairy Seer? Let's counterspell that. And I say this because I want them to tap out with a Spell Stutter Sprite so I can Lorien Revealed. I wonder if they have another land. If they don't, then... Alright, there's a Spell Stutter Sprite. Yep. Okay, that works. Fairy Seer, Scry to where? So I'm now taking 5 per turn, which is a problem for sure. Okay, 2 top is also not encouraging. So taking 5 damage a turn is a problem because it means that I won't really be able to make use of my Snuff Outs. We got a Suffocating Fumes, and we hold the Multiverse and extract a Confession. Okay, Suffocating Fumes is good. Let's see if we can find a time to play it. We could Suffocating Fumes and then counterspell their counterspell. And then we only have the Ninja to worry about, of 1 mind, sure. With a lot of resources, probably land number 4 at this point. Fairy Seer, of 1 mind, okay. Now land number 4, yep. But I am okay into a Spell Pierce. So do I Suffocating Fumes right now? And by right now, I mean on my turn. Let's find out. We got a Snuff Out, okay. That's pretty good. So I am going to Fumes. And not only that, I think I am also going to... Well, I'm going to consider extracting a Confession. I'll have to think about that. Okay, Fumes wipes, sure. We already played our land. Let's try the Extract. If they have a Spell Pierce, they have a Spell Pierce. This is what Snuff Out is for. Okay, it goes away. Good. So we are wrestling control back from the opponent. Of course, they are going to have a ton of options to come at me with, but perhaps they will redevelop very quickly, leave themselves exposed, not leave mana up, and I can continue to pick their stuff apart. Since we're now at 6, going on 7 mana, I can heavily consider the Serpentine Curve, especially because I have Counterspell backup. Fairy Miscreant is fine. Okay, so leaving 4 mana up, huh? It's a little sus. They might want to flash in a Spell Stutter Sprite. Cast Down is good. If I behold the Multiverse, they can counterspell. I'm going to look up a Mono Blue Fairies list really quick and see what they are running in terms of counters, because I actually haven't played that deck before myself. Okay, they are running 4 Counterspell, 4 Spell Pierce. This one's running Snap, not... Okay, but they run a lot of counterspells pretty commonly. Let's play our land, and I'm going to foretell this, and then do it on their turn if I get a chance. I'm also planning to consider Cast Down and Counterspell, although I'd prefer not to use the Counterspell unless I pick up another one. Let's make them burn all that mana. That's good. Let's Cast Down. Backup 1. When this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following ability until end of turn. Hexproof. Very interesting. That's a problem for sure. I could just snuff this out. Let's do that. I think I prefer to cast Snuff Out before the Counterspell, especially because I can also pair this with the Behold the Multiverse. Snap? Yeah, I'm fine with Snap. So you get your 0/1, which you can ninjutsu. Sure. Okay. Let's see if they have the Counterspell for my Behold the Multiverse. Consider and Snuff Out. Snuff Out is... I mean, it's still a removal, and I have a lot of mana at this point. Oh, it got to put a counter on itself. Okay, I understand. You know, I think I'm just going to play Serpentine Curve here. If I play Serpentine Curve, though, I'm dead to a Ninja. But this doesn't have flying, right? This does not have flying. So let's do that. So let's take... We'll put this on bottom. This on top. We get a land, sure. And then I can cast the Consider right now. Alright, Consider. Do you want to Spell Pierce? Brainstorm. Let's see, I'm gonna have 8 mana. No, I think I'd rather have another removal or counterspell, something like that. Rite of Consumption. Okay. So I could do this right now. So let's see what they have. If they have a Spell Stutter Sprite, They can't counter this, but they can flash it in and try to kill me by Spell Stutter Sprite and then turning that into a ninja. Okay, it resolves. And then I think I should pass. There's some chance that I should be using Rite of Consumption here, but I think I'm gonna wait. So if they flash in the Sprite and they have a ninja, I lose. So I have to counter the Sprite, but then they could boomerang my fractal token. That's not good. But you can't play around everything. I have an answer to one or the other. Okay, they don't do it. Nice. Ah, only attacking with this. Makes sense. Moon Circuit Hacker, sure. Alive at 1. Have 1 mind, sure. Island. Yep. Fairy Seer, okay. So I'm gonna need to swing in. You don't draw a card, okay. I'm gonna need to swing in, protect myself from the boomerang with the counter spell, and then Rite of Consumption. Hard Evidence is good. Let's cast it now so we can crack the clue if need be to look for something. They probably block here with the ground creature when I attack. So the crab is... Oh, the crab would be holding off the ninja. That's good. Let's swing. And if they let the attack go through, it's going to be too late to boomerang because this sacrifices for cost. Sure. So if they don't block, then I win. Okay. GG. Rite of Consumption plus Counterspell closes it. And it even plays around Spell Pierce. Let's see the Sprite. Okay. GG. Let's go, game 2. Okay, nice. And we have some stuff in the sideboard. We've got Lose Focuses to fight Counterspell Wars, and we've got Drowns in Sorrow. Things to take out. Snuff Out is good as a low-cost interaction option as well. Extract a Confession is not that great. What else? Hard Evidence is kind of mid. It holds back ninjas, but not fairies, so I'm going to take a couple of those out. Do I get rid of the cast downs completely? Let's try to trim a cast down and a consider. Okay. Next, game 2. We are currently doing a little bit better on time than the opponent, but basically tied. We have a Brainstorm into Lorien. Sounds pretty good. Let's plan to do that. We'll keep it. And out of this hand, what am I putting back? Maybe a Consider. Consider is so flexible in the early game, though. Yeah, I'd probably put back a Consider and maybe like a Counterspell. We'll see. Fairy Miscreant, sure. Opponent also mulligan to 5, so that's pretty good for us. Okay, does that mean I start with the Aquifer? I don't think so. I'm just gonna Island, Brainstorm, set an upkeep stop to cycle my Lorien Revealed. In here, I would also be putting away... If I get two lands, I'd probably put one away. Maybe we ditch one Lorien, and... I mean, this is helping us to further sculpt our hand, but I'm not sure if we need it at that point. I think I can get rid of this counter spell for now. And let's set an upkeep stop and pass. My plan is to probably upkeep cycle the Lorien and get a Contaminated Aquifer and play that Contaminated Aquifer. Go shields down a little bit. And they don't have a lot that they want to be doing with 2 mana anyway, depending on what happens in main phase 2 here. Okay, upkeep. Cycle. Get the Aquifer. Now, good draws here. A good draw would be an Island, so that we can Suffocating Fumes on 3 if need be. Let's take the upkeep stop off. Okay. Counterspell, sure. Just play Aquifer and pass, so they can definitely get in with a ninja here. But I feel like maybe they would have had it last turn. Land number 3, sure. No ninjas. Fine with me. I could technically play the Ash Barrens and have Suffocating Fumes up, but I don't think I need to right now. I think I'm okay just playing another Contaminated Aquifer and passing. I can Brainstorm plus Consider. I also have Dispel, and I'm okay just Suffocating Fumes, using Suffocating Fumes or Drown in Sorrow next turn. Currently, they're actually not able to even counter the Drown in Sorrow. I might actually also consider counterspelling a fairy if they play one. Now, do you have a ninja? They do, okay. Sure. So this is going to be a halfway decent Drown in Sorrow, I think. Especially if they tap out for it, or if they tap out before I do it. Very Miscreant. Do you have island number 4? You don't. Okay, we'll just Drown in Sorrow. For now, let's Brainstorm and Consider. 2 of those is actually a pretty nice combo. I don't think I need 2 counter spells. And I don't need... let's mill the counter spell and eventually draw the Consider. Sorry, draw the Dispel. Consider milling counterspell. Or cycling Ash Barrens. Cycling Ash Barrens now might be good. Then I can Consider and... then I can Drown in Sorrow and Consider on their turn. Yeah, let's cycle the Ash Barrens for an island. I don't think we need another black source right now. And we got it anyway. Okay. So let's island, Drown in Sorrow, say go. Cast down is fine. I think I'll draw it. I don't think I need to put that in the graveyard. 5 cards in hand. What do they have? Murmuring Mystics, maybe ninjas, more ninjas. Interaction. Do you have a spell stutter sprite for this? That would be fine. Decide not to. They might be keeping the counters for my win con. Alright. Swamp and pass. I always try to play on the opponent's turn. Moon Circuit Hacker. Sure. Let's cast that down. Just keep the board clean. I know it could get swept up by a Suffocating Fumes, but I don't want to really price myself into this. And I want to cast down now when they can't actually stop it unless they have a Dispel. It's Frantic Inventory. If it gets countered, that's totally okay. I have another one. Dimir Aqueduct, fine. And Consider. Counterspell? I don't need it. I don't have any in the graveyard yet. I can pitch one. That's fine. Drown in Sorrow, awesome. Alright. Start off with a Frantic Inventory. And then Dimir Aqueduct, probably pick up the Swamp. Serpentine Curve, nice. The thing is, if they are planning to boomerang this Serpentine Curve, it's not going to work for them because it resolves, and then the Rite of Consumption sacrifices for cost. I think even if I have to kind of pass the next turn, or like, you know, pass through their turn and not use this 3 mana, I don't think I'm going to cycle the Suffocating Fumes. What would it do? It would put this to... Why doesn't this say the number of instants and sorceries in the graveyard? Is there a way to find out how many that is? Is there like a helpful tooltip? Let me know. So this would be at 11. It doesn't need to be at 11. And I don't know if I'm casting it yet anyway. I don't really want to rush it. Like, they could just have 2 counter spells here. And then that really sets me back. So let's just keep playing lands and passing. Somebody left an insightful comment on one of my videos the other day about sort of needing to know when I'm the aggro. And let me know if you think that would apply to this deck, and if I'm playing this deck the wrong way in a similar way. Because here I feel like I want to sort of assemble more of an ideal board before I start doing things. Like, I don't have the win here, so I don't want to just play this and start swinging necessarily because I die to 1 boomerang, 1 counterspell. I don't die, but it completely ends what I'm doing. So let me know what you think, if I'm playing the matchup wrong. Sure. I think I'm fine with them going for a ninja. I can Drown in Sorrow. Okay, they don't have one. That Spell Stutter doesn't really scare me. But let's Brainstorm, though. If they do another Spell Stutter Sprite. Okay, they don't. Drown in Sorrow, I like it. I don't need 2 right now. I definitely don't need the Serpentine Curve right now. Let's... I'm not shuffling my deck somehow, am I? Let's put these both back. And... pass. I meant to double check if I played a land. I think I did. Sure. You can keep swinging. This life doesn't really matter to me. There's a Serpentine Curve. I think I'm going to try a Drown in Sorrow. I say that the life doesn't matter to me, but it might matter to me a little. I'm going to put this on the bottom for now. If I need it, I can shuffle the deck later. Pass. Let's find something more meaningful a little bit quickly. Okay. So they're also playing this matchup really defensively. Let's draw some cards. Try to. Nice. Okay. Anything that I can do proactively here? Do I put down a Serpentine Curve? It would unclog my hand a little bit. But we just put that other one back. I think I'll pass. At this point, I don't think I really need the Dispel, because I also have a Lose Focus in the Counterspell. Let's counterspell that. Lose focus that. And replicate it twice. Same targets. Same targets. So when you replicate a lose focus like that, it's pretty nice in counterspell wars. That one's fine. Yeah, it's pretty nice in counterspell wars. That's suffocating fumes. Because it's separate instances. So if they have just one counterspell, but you're countering their same thing 3 times, it's not going to work too well for them. Of one mind? Sure. Let's just Bajuka Bug. Sure. I don't really like to give them more answers, but at the same time, maybe I should be counterspelling the answers. They already have so many cards. Let's try to draw. We do it successfully. Okay. Got a land. Got a frantic inventory. We're going to have 4 cards in hand, or 4 extra cards in hand. We can cast this. And let's move to discard. There are situations where it might feel wasteful to draw a bunch of cards and just have to discard them at the end. But this deck doesn't really hate that anyway. I'm not too worried about it. Okay. We move to cleanup. Let's discard a... This is my only hard removal. Let's discard a Dispel. And a land, I suppose. Okay, and I'll lose focus. Alright, go. Fairy Seer. Sure. How many spell stutters have they played? 1, 2, 3. 3 spell stutters. Okay. Let's crack a clue. There's the win con. Cool. Let's try to take this out. See if they tap low because of it. Nice. Okay. Okay. Alright. Time to do our thing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, 14 mana. This is... And we have triple counterspell. So let's go ahead and Serpentine Curve. So they need... How many counterspells? 5? Something like that? Or they need some healing. But I could counter that too. Alright, counterspell. Okay. They're saying they thought they would have the priority to snap or boomerang it back to my hand. Alright, GG's opponent. We won it. Our time went low and slow. That's how it goes. Let's move on to the next match. Alright, we're going into our second game of the league right now. We are up against Mr. Twin. Good luck, good luck. It looks like we're going to have to mulligan because we have a no-lander. At least they mulligan as well. This is kind of a weird hand, but I've got these multiple copies of Hard Evidence. I think I must be able to keep it. Let's sequence out our first couple of turns here, because it's pretty much lands and removal and Hard Evidence for some investigating. So, turn 1, I could swamp, cycle Ash Barrens for Island, and then play the Island and do a single Hard Evidence. Or... Yeah, I'm not playing 2 Hard Evidence by turn 2, whatever I do, so let's put back the Ash Barrens, actually, because I want instants and sorceries in the grave. They're starting with an island. Sure. And I'm just going to start with a Contaminated Aquifer here, actually. I'll see if I pick up, like a Brainstorm or something to pair with the Lorien Revealed. Okay, Lorien Revealed for Island, okay. So maybe some kind of mono blue deck. Could be fairies, could be terror. I mean, they might not be mono blue, but when they cycle for a basic, that's usually a decent guess. Unmatched Island Arts, okay. Boomerang my land. Sounds about right, okay. So, looking like it could be terror then, but we were just, of course, up against a fairy deck that played Boomerang. We'll replay it and pass. There's also some argument to going Swamp, Cycle the Lorien there. But again, I'm kind of saving this to see if I can pair it with, to see if I can shuffle my decks in some meaningful way. Dragon Wings. Enchanted creature is flying. When a creature with mana value 6 or greater enters, you may return Dragon Wings from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature. So it gives something flying. Okay, interesting. So they've got 6 instants and oh, that's an enchantment. So they've got 5 instants and sorceries in the graveyard right now. I see. So I think here I want to swamp. And this is leaving up cast down, primarily cast down, Otherwise, I can cycle the Fumes, or I can Island Cycle DeLorean Revealed. That's actually interesting. I mean, maybe there's no sense leaving mana open there, yeah, because I can't counterspell, unfortunately. I can Snuff Out, though. Let's see if they... Yeah. Let's see if they spend the remaining mana. I mean, this is going to be susceptible to a Spell Pierce anytime, right? Let's try it. Do they have the Spell Pierce? It looks like they do. Or Force Spike. Okay. No, I will not pay. So we're going to definitely bring in the Extract a Confessions in this matchup. So I can... Next turn I can try to cast that down. What should I be doing this turn? Attempting a counterspell. So if I'm attempting a counterspell, I could just play the island, pass, and then Island Cycle Lorien Revealed with my Swamp, and still have the counterspell available. Delver. Let's try to counter this. Now I've got the Suffocating Fumes, but that would mean I have to use it right now. And I want to have time to Suffocating Fumes this before it flips. Let's do this. Okay, that works. And then I will Island Cycle. Now I would just be able to put up chump blockers, except they're giving it flying here, unfortunately. I think I'd try another cast down. Let me just avoid giving them a draw to deal with it. Okay, I have another Spell Pierce. Too bad. Okay. So we are at 6. Fine. We have Extract a Confession. We have 2 more cast downs. We have 3 more Snuff Outs. So we have like 6 cards in the deck that can deal with this. Maybe more. We're not dead to it this turn, at least. Cryptic Serpent. Okay, it's too bad. We can block that with the Hard Evidence Crab. Alright, let's just go Hard Evidence. It works. Hard Evidence. Play this. And we can, I guess, bait a counterspell with the Frantic Inventory on their turn. We have to find an answer for this right now. Echoing Truth. Echoing Truth. Okay, they got me. Concede. Alright, let's go into the sideboard. We need the extra Extract a Confession. The Suffocating Fumes and the Drown in Sorrow aren't that great. A Null can counter an enchantment, but I don't think it can counter the... What is that card called? Dragon Breath, Dragon Wings, when they get it. Probably just lose focus here. Okay, let's try that. One thing that I was thinking about bringing up in the intro is this deck, aside from a single main deck Bojuka Bog, does not have Graveyard Hate, which is pretty interesting if you ask me. This looks like a keepable start. Going first against Delver is pretty important. They also start with 7. Ice Tunnel pass. So they might have sideboarded in some D-spells. They can also Delver to try to beat me down, I suppose. Island. And let's do this. I don't think there's anything that we super have to counter on turn 2. Okay, they're setting up their Delver. They'll probably show me some kind of cantrip, something inconsequential. Thought Scour, yep. Alright. So 3 instants and sorceries in the grave. Terrors cost 4. Sure. I can just play a land and pass, because I can do this on their turn. I can also play the Hard Evidence. Alright. I don't think they'll keep in the Echoing Truth. They probably shouldn't. Oh, yeah, Terrors cost 4, that's what I said. Okay. Do I fish for a Snuff Out? Sure. It probably won't go through, though. They can just counter this. They Mental Note. Now they're going to play their Terrors. Okay, I get it. I get it. So that's 1, 2... They have Frantic Inventory too. Interesting. 4, 5, 6. 1 mana Terrors. Here we go. Alright. Lorien Revealed is not going to do it. Dimir Aqueduct is not going to do it. We need our Extract a Confession. There's Snuff Out. Do I Snuff Out the Terror and pay the ward? I'll try to snuff this out. Okay. 2 Terrors. There's 1. And then are you going to Spell Pierce or just play the 1? There's 2. Okay. Let's find Extract. Yep. Okay. Let's draw. Snuff Out. Can't use it. I didn't find a land. Alright. Pass. Go down to 8. And then go down to 4 after Snuff Out, and then lose, probably. They were just really effectively able to out-tempo me here. I guess waiting until... Using the Snuff Out there was greedy. or using the Behold the Multiverse there was greedy. Yeah, that'll happen. So I go down to 8, and then I go down to 4 when I snuff out. And then they swing for the win. So I need extract here, or a blocker. That's a blocker. It's off tempo though, unfortunately. But is it the only thing that can keep me in the game? Because if I snuff out, and that's all, then I lose. Okay. Hard evidence? Yep. I won't be able to snuff out anymore after this, so I'll need to find the extract a confession. Pass. Yep. Okay. Murmuring Mystic. I can't counterspell it, sure. Let's go Frantic Inventory. I don't think I have a draw. Alright. GG's. What a pub stomp. Alright, that's fine. Let's move on to round 3 and try to turn things around. See you in the next one. And we are queuing straight into round 3 with no break whatsoever. That was insta right there. We lost the dice roll. We have a land plus a Lorien revealed and a consider. I think I can keep this. Alright, you might be looking at Affinity here. So at least Affinity is not great at pressuring a lot. We have to make sure that we have some stuff in our hand to discard to the Refurbished Familiars. As I've mentioned before, this Extract a Confession can do something versus their 3/3 flying land. I think I want to just Lorien for an island here. Nah, I should pick up an Aquifer. That'll still let me consider as well. Okay, pass. We can discard Frantic Inventory to a Refurbished Familiar. Oh, Geothermal Bog. Maybe this isn't Affinity. What else could be playing this? Dredge? Well, there's a Refurbished Familiar. Sure. Lorien revealed or consider. What do I want to do next turn? Probably just cast Hard Evidence. So let's get Lorien revealed for an island. Play the island. Cast Hard Evidence. And then do I pass the... Do I just Extract a Confession right now? They can't sacrifice it currently to Deadly Dispute, so that's definitely an advantage. Or we could hold up the counterspell. I think since I don't know exactly what they're on, I'm going to play it a little bit more reactively. I have a lot that I want to be doing on their turn. Even if I don't counterspell, I can crack a clue, or I can consider. Yeah, they play a basic. Interesting. Mire Triton. Is this mill? Let's see what they mill. I'm going to let that through. So it's just some value-oriented red-black deck. Oh, it's just a two-color deck. It's just like a value Rakdos Midrange? Okay. Sure. Could look for a Suffocating Fumes. Rakdos Midrange playing artifacts for Refurbished Familiar? Maybe. This Snuff Out is not going to be great. We can take that out. Let's start with a Brainstorm. We can consider fixing our Brainstorm lock with the Consider. Drown in Sorrow. That'll be good later. So we can put that on top, I suppose. We're not going to cast it this turn. So right now we're at 9 cards in hand. We're going to go down to 7. So we won't have to discard. The Snuff Out is not doing much. So we'll put away the Snuff Out and put away the Drown in Sorrow there. Dimir Aqueduct. Pick up the island. And pass. So we can cast down or we can counterspell. They're operating pretty off curve right now, which is good for me. I'm just going to go forward assuming that this is some kind of mid-range deck. I'm not going to go right into casting this down. That's got Death Touch, huh? That's sort of annoying. It's fine. I elected not to cast that down because I'm going to be drowning it anyway. Same reason I didn't block. I'm willing to take a bit of life. There's that card, right? Okay, so Drown of Sorrow, Drown in Sorrow, and then we can keep up Island. Sure. We should have played the island to respond to their Deadly Dispute. That was a mistake. Yep. Of course. Okay. Deadly Dispute goes through. Yeah. They had 2 of them. Okay. Cast down is fine. Island. Pass. So all we're doing here actually is counterspell, which means that maybe I was supposed to Hard Evidence just to make sure I can use my mana for something. I think I'll counterspell a Refurbished Familiar. Or counterspell that. Okay, so it's some kind of... It's this recursion deck. They get a ton of value. Makeshift munitions, okay. Sure. Well, that's going to be going face primarily against me, I would guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just cast the Behold the Multiverse here. Now we can foretell it. And I'll just not get a land drop this turn, that's okay. And pass. 9 instants and sorceries in the bin right now. About to be more when I use this card. That is fine. I'll chump that. And they can keep sacrificing it to Deadly Dispute and such. Putrid Goblin, okay. Oh, do they play first day of class? This might be a combo deck. Suffocating Fumes Lorien. Suffocating Fumes is not that needed right now. I'll put Lorien on top. Okay, so I can... I don't think I'm casting a Lorien this turn. I want to get rid of that, and they can bring it back this turn. What am I doing here? Just Contaminated Aquifer, and crack a clue, and consider casting down the... We'll just block the Putrid Goblin, consider casting down the Retrofitted Transmogrant. I think that there are a lot of plays that are of similar power here. I was watching a video today, and a Magic Pro was saying that he's kind of prone to analysis paralysis, and he found that if two decisions seem almost imperceptible from each other, they probably honestly are, which is something that I need to hear for sure. Okay. What else? Sure. Let's cast down. I know this is bad value. That thing can keep coming back anyway. But I gotta protect my life total a bit. That is fine. I didn't need anything in there anyway. Let's cycle the Ash Barrens. 3, 4 minutes. Sure, bring it back. That's fine. Cycle this for an island. So cast this down plus Bog. That seems okay. So I can Lorien and cast down and then extract it. Or sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Lorien, extract. I guess I just cast it down. Bog you, and then pass. And then we have a 4 mana Snuff Out if they give me a target. I'll take this. Currently they have 5 mana of direct damage. 5 damage, sorry. 5 direct damage. Hard Evidence is good. We found our win con as well, so we have to churn a little bit more. Find the other piece. It's fine. So if I cast this down, it still prevents 2 damage, because otherwise they can swing with it and then throw it at me. Sure. Oh, and they actually have 6 damage, because they have the other half of this, of course. I still have 2 Suffocating Fumes in the deck. Refurbished Familiar. Discard Snuff Out. Let's find a Suffocating Fumes. Okay, not there. And we're Brainstorm locked. Let's play a Serpentine Curve. Oh, I should have used Extract a Confession first. That was a mistake. Kinda. Okay, so if they throw this at me, then their Putrid Goblin will die. Yep. So I've got a couple of dead draws coming up. I think it's an island and a Snuff Out. So next turn, all I'm doing is attacking. If that. Sure. Do they have Toxin Analysis? Sure. Sure. Let's crack the clue here. Okay. Discard an island. So what they can do is they can block with the Putrid Goblin and then throw it at my face, putting me to 9. Refurbished swings in, and then they sack it, putting me to 7 and then 6, and then they have 1, 2, 3, 4 artifact lands. So let's attack. They don't have quite enough to kill me, and I need to sort of bust through their defenses. I'm going to concede if it looks like they can ping me down. In terms of red spells, what do they have? Very little. It seems like it's mostly munitions. Regardless, I think it makes sense to put in some number of Blue Blast here, because this is sort of like taking over the game. Actually able to pressure my life total. If I find like specifically... What's the card called? If I find specifically Rite of Consumption, then I can probably get back into it, because this just won't be fast enough. So that's 6, 7 sacrifice targets. Sorry, 6 sacrifice targets, not 7. But if they have a creature, then I think I lose. Hard Evidence, sure. Draw. Behold the Multiverse, sure. Serpentine Curve. Let's attack. Okay, So now what this means is they swing for, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Still not quite enough. They need an artifact or a creature. And I can counter a creature. I think I'm right in that assessment. 5, 6, yeah. And they played a non-artifact land, which is good for me. Sure. Sure. I was actually even 1 damage off. I don't know where that came from. Creature, zombie warrior. No, that can't come down. I guess technically it can. No, because they can block with it. Don't allow that. Let's see what they have next. Another one? Okay. Now I have to pick up a removal spell. Oh, that makes sense. So they win next turn. Oh, this is a token creature. It's a token creature! Oh my goodness! Okay. Wow. That's crazy. Do they have... They can't snuff out either. Oh my gosh, we got the win. Did anyone see that before I did? That's insane. They were probably like, that's big. No way that's a token. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, so let's bring in like a couple of blue blasts. They have some artifacts. I think the Transmogrant is an artifact. I think the Refurbished Familiar is an artifact. Not a lot though. Drown in Sorrow is decent. Fangs is decent. Obviously take out the Snuff Outs. Maybe I just put in a second Drown and run it. Okay, let's go. I'm not putting in a Null, although it can counter their makeshift munitions. It can't destroy it. This looks like it's keepable. I have 2 lands into a Hard Evidence, into a Frantic Inventory. Let's hold on to that for a bit. Having black mana is less important now since I took out the Snuff Outs. I mean, it's still important, but not as much. Okay, they have Deadly Dispute and nothing else. Probably maybe Cast Down. Play an island and then do everything else on their turn. Sure. There's no rush with this thing. I don't have to counter their card. That's fine. I can just block that for a bit. Bajuka Bog, not a problem. Let's just not Frantic Inventory in response. Okay, I'm gonna Frantic Inventory now just to be mana efficient, and then I can Lorien Revealed on my turn if I need to. Okay, we got an island. Good. Let's pass. We have Dispel for their Deadly Disputes. Refurbished Familiar. I will Counterspell. Alright. Lorien Revealed. So I pick up yet another basic island. Here's why I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that so I can foretell and hold up Counterspell. Or Clue. Petri Goblin. Sure. I'll block. This. Frantic Inventory is good. Blue Blast is... I don't need another one, I don't think. On the bottom for now. And there's one more in the deck still. Right. I can go Dimir Aqueduct, I suppose. So just Hard Evidence. Dimir Aqueduct. Pick up Island. Pass. I have Dispel. Or Counterspell. Or Clue. A lot of things I can do on their turn. 2 mana. Fanatical Offering. Let's Dispel that. Let's keep them going slow, huh? And now Suffocating Fumes or Drown in Sorrow will be better on these. Why do you keep doing that? Block. Just hoping I'll forget. Making me spend time. Frantic Inventory. Okay, got the Serpentine Curve. Got an island. I can Brainstorm. Let's just island and crack a couple clues. At this point, I'm probably drawing off of this Lorien Revealed. They've missed a few land drops, actually. Okay. Counterspell the card draw. Interesting that they didn't sacrifice their Transmogrant. Get those back. Let's crack a clue. Sure. Let's just crack another clue. Okay. Block here. Now I've counterspelled all their stuff. How many counterspells have I spent? 1, 2. So I need to be more careful with my next couple counterspells. So let's keep digging. We need to cast our cheap stuff. Or discard it. Put back a... I don't need a Serpentine Curve right now. Back an island and a Serpentine Curve. Play a Swamp. Play a Hard Evidence. Pass. So they can discard one of my cards. I could discard a Brainstorm, I think. Well, I could Brainstorm and then see what I draw and discard one of those things. Discard one of the cards that I put back. Putrid Goblin. Refurbished Familiar. Okay. Brainstorm. I guess the Extract a Confession. Putrid Goblin. Okay. Block. And I'm gonna Deadly Dispute, or sorry, cast down the Refurbished Familiar while they don't have Deadly Dispute. And then I'll crack a clue. Alright, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. I can Lorien Revealed go up to 8 cards and then down to 7, so let's Lorien Revealed. Play the Island or the Contaminated Aquifer? I'll play the Island. And pass. Refurbish Familiar. Brainstorm. Discard a Consider. So I'll put back a Brainstorm and the Serpentine Curve. Discard the Consider. And then I'll cast Consider. Alright. Let's Drown in Sorrow. What else? We have 1, 2, 8 mana. We could Lorien Revealed and Drown in Sorrow. I think that's fine. And we do not need the Island. And pass. They didn't have a Deadly Dispute, that's good. How many islands do I have in the bin? More of that, fine. How many lands do I have here? No lands. Sure. Refurbished Familiar. Yep. Discard an island. Block. Okay. Frantic Inventory. Sure, sounds good. A bunch of lands. We'll cast this down. And we will pass. End step, I will Brainstorm Ash Barrens. And then I can Clue Token. Okay. Discard an island. Refurbish Familiar. Discard an Ice Tunnel. Let's find some kind of board wipe. Brainstorm. Put back this and this. Cycle. Crack a Clue. Okay, there's our other Blue Blast. Got it. There's a counter spell. Very important. Let's Behold the Multiverse. I thought I did it. Yes, we want this. Top. We don't have enough mana to hold up counter spell. What could they do meaningfully? They could Red Blast is what they could do. So, we should Frantic Inventory. Wait, hold on. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Okay, we can do this. It is big enough. Good. Okay, GG! Alright. We are 2-1. Pretty good, pretty good. Already better than I expected with this deck. I know it is slow and grindy, but I'm just here impressed that this is even working out to the degree it is. I will go ahead and see you in the next games. Alright, we are starting round 4. It looks like we won the dice roll. Let's see how this goes. So, I think this is a keepable start. We have 3 lands, 4 with Lorien Revealed, which can find our black source, into a couple of removal tools, and a draw tool with the Behold the Multiverse, so I think this is completely fine. One question I have is whether I will be playing... I'm going to cycle Lorien Revealed for Contaminated Aquifer on turn 1, but my question is whether I should play it on turn 2, or whether I should foretell the Behold the Multiverse. I think I want to do the foretell play. Blood Fountain. Okay, so we're up against Affinity, sure. We usually have discard fodder in our hand, so I'm not too worried about that part. Let's foretell. And pass. So we are going to be able to have a usable black source starting on turn 4. We'll play it on turn 3. Deadly Dispute away the blood token, sure. And do they spend it for a Refurbished Familiar? They do not. Sounds good. Let's... So I think I've changed my plan. What I want to do now is Island, which will allow me to counterspell or foretell, or play the Foretold card, and then cycle for the black source. 2 mana for a Wellspring, perhaps? They're paying costs. Thoughtcast, fine. Refurbished Familiar. Okay, let's discard... actually, I meant to counterspell that. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Let's discard a Cast down or extract a confession? I only have one extract a confession in the deck. I have 3 cast downs. I'm gonna get rid of this. Okay, let's cycle the Lorien Revealed for the Aquifer. And then we will cast the Foretold, Behold the Multiverse. Dispel Brainstorm. I like Dispel against Affinity. Brainstorm is not... I mean, it's drawing me cards, but... Huh. I think I would rather have something that's not going to get me stuck. Okay, I got a Brainstorm anyway. It's fine. I think Brainstorm is okay. Alright, play the Contaminated Aquifer. Pass the turn. We can Fumes on the Refurbished Familiar, as well as Cart Clan Shaman, and Kenku Artificer. Heal Spellbomb. That's not a problem. I mean, it'll be a little bit of a problem when I start chaining the, what's it called, Frantic Inventory, Frantic Search. But not the worst. Okay, what do I put back? Is there anything I just really don't need? I mean, kind of Extract a Confession. Okay, let's keep the Fumes. Let's put back a counter spell and a Serpentine Curve for now. And then let's cycle for another black source. Take the black source and consider. Yeah, let's have it in my hand. I guess I knew that was there. I forgot. Dems to breaks. I'm actually fine with Extract a Confession here. Oh, I think I pulled a Contaminated Aquifer, so I should have played that Aquifer. I just told them I had a... I just gave them information about my hand. That was a mistake. If they spend their treasure token and... If they spend their treasure token to cast a Deadly Dispute, I can dispel it. Okay. I think I'm counterspelling the next Refurbished Familiar. Maybe not, because I have Fumes. Okay. Deadly Dispute on your Spellbomb. On your Blood Fountain. Interesting. You think this is a deck with Tolarian Terrors. Okay. Oh, I could have stopped that with the spell. I gotta pay more attention. Alright, lock in. Sure. And we don't have the extract for the land anymore. Spellbomb. Sure, I didn't need that stuff anyway. What will you discard? Oh, play a Mirror Enforcer. I'll counterspell it. Oh, you don't have enough mana. You do if you spend the treasure token. Okay. So this is at 7 right now. Gotta find some card draw, and there it is. Awesome. Let's chain this into some more good stuff. Another Brainstorm, a Hard Evidence, okay. Not too worried about this Brainstorm lock here. We will just go here and here. That should be fine. Aquifer, Hard Evidence, leaving up Counterspell and Dispel, or Crack a Clue, or Suffocating Fumes, I suppose. If they Refurbish Familiar, I will Crack a Clue. Mirror Enforcer. Sure. That's not a problem. Crack a Clue, get an Island, get a Brainstorm. Let's cast Brainstorm. Okay, and then we have Snuff Out for the Mirror Enforcer, and then Counter Spells and D-Spells after that. We'll put back Fumes and Serpentine Curve. I'm not going to be shuffling. Let's Snuff Out, and then I'll Counterspell the Blood Fountain, and pass. Blood Fountain number 2. Land. Kenku, we've got to counter that. Pass, okay. Play a land and pass. We now have 12 cards in the bin, meaningfully. Or is one of them a land? 12 instants and sorceries, okay. They pass, sure. Serpentine Curve. Pass. This deck can run Cast Down, so let's not rush into this. They play a tap land. They pass. We get a Dimir Aqueduct, fine. Pick up an island. Pass. So sometimes this deck can kind of chain through draws, and sometimes it can run dry a little bit. But they are also at a stop as well. We got no sacrifice cards for their Wellsprings anymore. Island pass. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands between our hand and our board. So there are only 7 left in the deck. Deadly Dispute a Wellspring. Let's dispel the Deadly Dispute. They still draw off of the Wellspring, that's fine. They can use their Cart Clan to trigger their other Wellspring. That's fine. and clear away my crab so they can start swinging in with more Mirror Enforcers. Refurbished Familiar. Okay. I'll discard an island. So now I have one land in the bin. Crack the Wellspring. Sure. No need to hurry on the Suffocating Fumes. Play a land, pass. I still need to save this for the Blood Fountain. That's troubling. I think we need to counterspell this now. Okay, let's cycle the Suffocating Fumes. See what we find. An island. We will discard the island. So we're going to be taking some beats here now. It's possible I should have counterspelled that, because they're going to have some Galvanic Blasts. So that might have been a little bit of a silly decision here. Bit of a turning point. Let's see if I can find some card draw. Lorien Revealed. Hard Evidence is good. Anything that draws me another card. Bajuka Bog. Sure. Or do I Serpentine Curve and Counterspell? I think it may be that I have to start pressuring them. Let's try the Serpentine Curve. We can find another. This is our first one. Okay, pass. We're taking 4. Man, losing that Suffocating Fumes was rough. Probably not correct. Reckoner's Bargain on the Wellspring. That has to be fine, sure. I have to counterspell Makeshift Munitions. Or Galvanic Blasts. We have another Fumes in the deck. We have a... not Arms of Hadar, the other one. Nihil Spellbomb. Sure. Crack it, okay. Alright, I take 4. Cast down. Let's protect it. I could find the Life Gain card here. That would be pretty good. Do you have double Galvanic Blast? Toxin Analysis? Okay. To go up to 29. Make a clue. Crack the clue. Yeah, the game kind of got away from me. I think that when I was put under the gun by the Refurbished Familiars by cycling that Suffocating Fumes is when it went badly. But that's fine. Let's try to finish this up quickly and then do a fast game 2 and 3. Consider, okay. That's not good anymore, but I can't put it in the graveyard either. But I think I have to consider. Oh, I probably just should have scooped there to not show them that card. Serpentine Curve, okay. So a couple of misplays there. Number 1, we underestimated the creature combat from the Refurbished Familiars. And number 2, we showed them the second half of our combo. So we will put in a nulls. They're going to put in red blasts for our snakes. So let's put in some blue blasts. We'll put in like 3 of them. We'll put in some loose focuses. Snuff Out is not that good in this matchup. Extract is okay. Drown in Sorrow is okay. How many do we have to take out? 4. I'm not going to worry about the 1 indestructible land. I don't think I can afford to. I'm just going to have to hope to counter it. Take out... I think Fumes is better than Drown in Sorrow. I'll leave the cast downs, though. Take out a Consider and a Hard Evidence. So you go. Because Hard Evidence can't block Refurb or the Flying Land. So we took out 2 draw spells and all of that. And a couple of scry spells. Alright. How is this looking? This looks okay. We don't really have card draw yet, but I think we can find it. Let's keep. A mulligan to 6. 5. Sure. So we Aqua for pass, then Island, hold up, lose focus, or Blue Blast, and then play from there. We'll have Suffocating Fumes active on turn 3, so a fast couple of refurbs won't get me. Aqua for pass. Opponent sticks at 5. Okay. Island pass. Are they looking for black sources? Is that their problem? Candy Trail. Let's lose focus that. Hope that they didn't find another land. They did, okay. That's fine. We'll play an island and pass. They're still missing black sources, though. Kanku. Lose focus. Cast with Replicate, because might as well. Even though, it takes time is why I shouldn't do it. Makes no sense. Okay. Now what are they doing? Brainstorm, good. let's try it. Into put back some lands and play a land and pass. And then we can Lorien Revealed shuffle. Or maybe we should be Lorien Revealed drawing. I actually don't know. Another one. Uh-oh. How many of those do you play? Dang. What did I have again? They've hit all their land drops. Dang. Okay. Aquifer. Alright. So, do I cycle the Fumes? I don't think so. Play Aquifer. Pass. I think I took out the Extract. Okay, do I Fumes just to take this off the table and lower the damage to heal 2? I think I should Brainstorm and put back Brainstorm Island. Am I cycling this? Okay, let's counterspell you. Maybe I should have let that through and used the Fumes. Okay, let's Island. Behold the Multiverse. Hard Evidence and Brainstorm. I think those are both fine. Cast the Hard Evidence, and then Brainstorm or Red Blast, or Brainstorm or Blue Blast. Still getting hit for 3 here. Okay. So they can get another indestructible land, eventually. I should have... I wouldn't have had mana. Okay. Let's put back the cast down on the island. Take 3. Mirror Enforcer. Okay. I'm tapped out. Let's draw a card. Should have done that before playing my island. And we have Cast Down and Suffocating Fumes and a Null. I don't need to do anything right now. It's Cast Down. They have a... Do they have a dispute? Ah, they had it. Okay. So far, I'm not seeing the Red Blasts that I was expecting, but they could be anywhere. I need to start dealing with this, and I don't think I can. I think this just has me on a 4-turn clock that I can't do anything about. Counter. And Suffocating Fumes does not really help that clock. They're going to get back the Refurbished and stuff eventually, but that'll take a little while, so I think I cycle this now. I have to turn quickly. Counterspell. Okay, that might help later. Oh, that's nothing. Okay, pass. Man, the second Kenku is really what got me. And I lose focused on their Candy Trail. Thinking that they would be totally stuck, but they were just looking for, they had the right draws anyway. So what I need to do here is to... I took out the Extract. Man, I don't think I have any answer. I literally have to heal off of Rite of Consumption and hope they mess up and let me kill them with the, by attacking with Serpents. They've already dealt with one Serpent, haven't they? No, they haven't. Okay. Alright, that's my game plan. Mirror Enforcer. Counterspell. Another Mirror Enforcer. Refurbished Familiar, sure. Discard a Blue Blast. Now this is going to be getting in because I got rid of the Suffocating Fumes. But I think that was still right to do. I Blue Blast for their Makeshift Munitions or Galvanic Blast, but then I'm literally dead next turn. Sure. Sure. Galvanic Blast. Counter. My turn. And alright, GG's opponent. We are 2-2. Let's take it into match 5 and see if we can wind up making our money back. I'll see you in the final round of the video. Thanks for watching. Alright, we are paired up for our final round of the event. We are up against a Pass 72. He is a Walls legend. We won the dice roll, so we gotta be digging for snuff outs here. That is of the utmost importance. This looks like a keepable start. We have Contaminated Aquifers into Brainstorms and Lorien Revealed, so if you're ever going to find it, we will today. Let's keep. And A Pass also starts on 7. Pretty good for a Walls opponent. On average, they mulligan, you know, around 50% of the time, something like that. So Walls was actually my very first Pauper deck, and the first video that I was ever going to make was going to be an in-depth sort of Walls guide. I put a lot of time into it, and then I ended up just kind of making MTGO gameplay videos instead, and I looked back at the work that I had done, and it wasn't really up to the... I start with a very wrong land, yeah. And it really wasn't up to the standards that I was hoping to have. Okay, so we have second Aquifer here. We'll play that and pass. So A Pass is, I might be pronouncing that wrong. is definitely one of the best Walls players that I know of, and has gotten a couple of trophies recently. So let's try not to let the fanboying get in my way, and we'll just try to play our best here. Brainstorm. Let's set an upkeep stop. Frantic Inventory, Snuff Out. Snuff Out's a good start. Okay, so I think I would like to put back... We're going to draw one of these, right? So I'm going to put the Frantic Inventory on the bottom, and then it doesn't matter. And consider. And then I want to consider away the Frantic Inventory. Okay, I don't need to do the Lorien thing, actually. So let's consider. Put this in the bin. Play a land or a Dimir Aqueduct? Let's play an island so we can counterspell if need be, and then we can pass. Cycle Generous Ent, sure. So I believe that A-Pass has been playing the no Winding Way version of the deck. Axebane Guardian is going to get counterspelled. Okay. Take one. Fine. Alright. So Drought and Sorrow is alright. It cleans up the Mana Dorks, cleans up the Quirions. For now, I think I'm just going to cycle this for a basic. Do I play the basic or do I Dimir Aqueduct? I'll just play the basic. Hold up Suffocating Fumes, hold up Brainstorm Plus. Of course, we have the Snuff Out. Going up to 4 mana for a Shield Wall Sentinel. Sure. Let's Brainstorm. See if we can find a counterspell. We can't find a counterspell. So what do we not really need that much? I think the Fumes is better than the Drown. So we'll put back the Drown, put back the Curve for now. This can happen, that's fine. Probably Axebane, Overgrown Battlement, sure. So it's looking like there's probably an Orochi coming in, so I'm glad that I kept the Suffocating Fumes. Let's get a tap land, that'll be fine. Dispel does not hit that much, I think. It can hit Pulse of Marasa, I suppose, but we might take the Dispel out. Hard Evidence. It can counter like one instance of Reaping the Graves, I suppose. Wall of Roots, sure. Overgrown Battlement, sure. Crack the Clue. Serpentine Curve, okay. Bajuka Bog is alright. I think I'd rather just Dimir Aqueduct here and pass. So let's see, they have access to like 11 mana here. So a lot of things are going to be happening. It's possible I should have Suffocating Fumes right away. Shield Wall Sentinel, okay. For Axebane, okay, interesting. Axebane, sure. Sure. Cast Generous Ent. Sure. Makes sense. So creating sort of a divergent plan, I have to kind of deal with both things now. Let's pass. I'm not getting a lot done here. Hard Evidence. So this can chump the Ents. Let's draw a card right now. I think that's okay. And then let's just Bajuka Bog. We don't have the Dispel, but I don't think it does much. So currently 9 things in the bin. We gotta start getting Frantic Inventories to dig through faster. Just block with a Crab. Grizzly, sure. So now you're gonna draw a bunch of cards. Fine. Can they go Reaping here? Quirion? Sure. Drift for Galvanic Alchemist, okay. Galvanic Alchemist. So in response to that, so they can make infinite mana, right? When was I supposed to deal with the Galvanic Alchemist? Let's read this. So this doesn't use the stack. This does use the stack. I think they got me here. So they can just do this again with the rest of the mana that they have saved up. Yep. So let's concede. They got me. Okay. So, when we're sideboarding, we want board wipes. They're not amazing on their own, but I think paired together they're quite good. We don't care that much about blocking them, but this is nice to get some card draw. A null can counter exactly the Freed from the Real. I think counter spells are pretty good. So let's take out the... Obviously Snuff Out is good. The board wipes are the main thing that I'm sus on. Dispel doesn't really do anything. And we don't want to take out too much card draw. I think I've actually changed my mind on the Drowns in Sorrow. I think I only want the Fumes. Let's go. So I think they might be bringing in Mirror Shell Crabs. This is a pretty sus hand, but I think I'm going to keep because of the Brainstorm and the Counterspell. Okay, let's Island. I mean, we have land drops for a while, and we have a Counterspell. But maybe we hold off on the Brainstorm. I don't know the answer to that. So there might have been some earlier... Oh, I didn't Brainstorm. That's okay. There might have been some earlier choke points where we should have removed their mana sort of before they were prepared to go infinite. Because they, of course, had the Reaping the Graves play ready to go. Wall of Roots. Okay. Tinderwall, sure. So a lot of fast mana. Brainstorm. Okay. Put away an island and an island. And upkeep. I'm going to shuffle with Ash Barrens. Give me another blue source right now. Okay, pass through. Take off the upkeep stop. So many islands. Oh my goodness. Alright, so on their turn, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. They can get more with a Quirion Ranger, but they don't have anything that they can tap and untap right now necessarily. They can get up to 6 and play a generous Ent, which I'm okay with. But I think, nevertheless, I want to hold off on the Behold the Multiverse because we can cast down or counterspell on their turn. Let's counterspell this. So they can play an Axebane if they want to. Alright. Let's Behold the Multiverse and play an island and pass. Axebane, sure. Alright, do you have a... This is only at sorcery speed, so they can't Vines of Vastwood here. Alright. Lorien's okay. Let's cast the Foretold. That thing. I don't really need Brainstorm right now. Snuff out, yes. Okay, play this and pass. Battlement? Sure. Okay, so that represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana if they Quirion, but that would be back down to 12 because I have to cast the Quirion. I think I just want to keep these off the board, man. But we can wait. Now they can have Vines of Vastwood. Lorien, okay. Let's snuff this out. Do you have the Vines? No. Okay. Wait, did I miss my land? I didn't? Okay. So let's consider into some more removal. Lead the Stampede, sure. They have Battlement, Axebane, Drift, Shield Wall. Okay. Battlement. Consider. Put that into the graveyard. Have a counterspell, that's fine. Let's cast that down. Let's extract a Confession. I can do it all. You can get rid of whichever one you want. You can... Sure. Cast this one down. Counterspell what's left. So they can play Shield Wall. And do I have to counterspell that? No, I'll counterspell this. So they played the Axebane and the Battlement at this point. Counterspell. I never want to let you untap with these. Consider. Brainstorm. Sure. Okay, we have another counterspell. Let's Brainstorm. Okay, Lorien revealed is good. We'll play a tap land here. I think we want to draw with the Lorien. Go ahead. We should have played the untap land, drew with the Lorien, and then still had counterspell. That was a big mistake. I have all this mana for nothing. Oops. Counterspell. Another one. Shield Wall, okay. For what? Axebane, okay. Let's cast the Lorien. There's a counterspell, okay. Play an island. So eventually, they can save up a bunch of plays to get a big drift turn going. Let's counterspell. So let's draw, let's not Brainstorm during their turn, let's draw our card and then do it. Serpentine Curve, there's that. There's a Snuff Out. Put back, I think, some lands. A land and a land and a Serpentine Curve. So Serpentine is second from the top right now. Hard Evidence. We'll wait on the redraw. We don't need to do it right now. So it's on the top of our deck. Lead the Stampede, sure. Shield Wall, Drift, Generous Ent, okay. 1 mana, cycle the Ent. Find a forest. Play the forest. Okay, let's consider. Do we have any lands in our graveyard right now? We have an Ash Barrens, and I think that's it. So this will be the second land that we have in the graveyard. So you have 19 instants or sorceries in there. They have to move to discard. Discard a drift, okay. Hard evidence. Draw. Frantic inventory. Another snuff out, good. Play Dimir Aqueduct. Pick up Island. So I don't think they have any kind of removal. So I think this is okay to do. So this will be a teaching moment if I'm wrong. 22, okay. They could technically out-heal this with a generous Ent. It's really Caretaker, okay. Shield Wall Sentinel, okay. I'm not sure which of these are still in their hand. I'm going to assume all of them. Okay. I can mess up their Reaping the Graves a bit. Let's attack. Oh, I didn't play the Bajuka Bog. I meant to play the Bajuka Bog. Oops. My bad. Okay, we'll see if they get a Rubble Belt. Or not a Rubble Belt Maverick. The Tuk Tuk Rubble Fort. Yes, they do. Okay. Stuff has haste. While that's on the stack, let's snuff out here. Cast. At this. Okay. They have an Axebane. Alright, next game. Let's go. Alright, game 3. I like my plan. Let's submit. Hold on one second. I just want to look at what A Pass is playing in the sideboard. Wait, hold on. It didn't let me take my card out. Okay, I thought if I took my card out, then it would revoke the submit. Let's look anyway, see what they might be sideboarding. Walls Discord, results. So, potentially Prohibit, Moments Piece. They don't have a lot of sideboard for this. How do I feel here? This is keepable. So I go Island into Island Cycle for Aquifer. Oh, they mull down to 5. Okay. Or do I just play Island Hard Evidence? Let's Island Pass and see what they do. Maybe I should save the Lorien for a Brainstorm pairing. This really Caretaker is fine. Okay, that's all. Cool. Yeah, let's Consider instead. We'll keep that. And then I will... I kind of want to threaten whatever they play, but they're just going to play into my counter spells because they don't have another alternative. Do I take that off the table to remove their ability to have colored mana? I don't think that makes sense. What if they play? I won't have to snuff it out right away. So for now, let's just play an Island and pass. And then I can Frantic Inventory or Island Cycle or something like that during their end step. No third land. Okay, let's Frantic Inventory. Alright, so here I think I'm going to go Ice Tunnel, pass. And I'm going to Brainstorm, put back some hard evidences, and shuffle with Lorien. Alright, A Pass decides to scoop. GG's. There's the end of the league. We finished it with a 3-2. We made our money back. Not bad, not bad. I will be right with you in a minute to talk about the deck, my thoughts, and go over any changes I might want to make. See you there. Okay, welcome back. Let's talk about the Pauper League that we just competed in. Overall, I got a 3-2 in the league, and I'm pretty happy with the result, especially because I don't have a ton of experience on the deck. It's not a meta deck. I don't actually play in a lot of Pauper leagues either. I don't really like events with entry fees when I can avoid it, so I try to play in free tournaments, but I just had to try this deck as soon as possible, so I entered the league. And we didn't get to 5-0 like Antilectual, but I think that me performing this well, given that all those limiting factors, shows that the deck does have some game to it. So, in spite of my many misplays that I'm sure I made throughout the video, and please tell me what those are in the comments, some people have wondered if that's okay to do. Absolutely. I think it makes me a better player, and maybe the people reading the comments better players as well. But in spite of those misplays, I'm going to offer a couple of points of advice. To me, these are just sort of rules of thumb or heuristics, things to keep your mind on when playing this deck. So first off, when you're playing this deck, make sure you focus on sequencing and hand sculpting. So when I talk about sequencing, I'm primarily talking about the order in which you are drawing and playing your cards. So this comes up a lot with Brainstorm and the classic combo of Brainstorm to draw 3, put back the 2 cards you don't want, and then shuffle the deck with Lorien Revealed or Ash Barrens does come up a lot. But it can also be a little bit more complicated. Let's say you have Brainstorm and Consider. And if you're going to play the Consider next turn, not just to break the Brainstorm lock, but perhaps because you want to mill cards that you actually want in your graveyard, like a Frantic Inventory, how are you going to order those things? Are you going to bake in some uncertainty about whether you actually will be able to cast the Consider, or whether you'll be forced to spend that mana doing something else? How do you sequence this when you also might have other card draw that you're going to do? Like from a Behold the Multiverse, a Cycled Suffocating Fumes, a clue token from Hard Evidence, something like that. So plan your turns out ahead of time, anticipate what you'll do during the opponent's turn, because so much of this deck is played on the opponent's turn, and sequence accordingly. And hand sculpting as well. The 7-card maximum hand limit actually comes up a lot in this deck, and you'll have to decide oftentimes, do I want to keep a point of removal, a point of interaction through counter magic, a board wipe, a card draw spell, a land. This will come up all the time, both when determining what cards to keep when you're discarding to hand size, but also when determining what cards to play. What are the worst cards in your hand that you don't mind expending to answer their threats? What cards are really valuable and you want to save them for just the right moment? What cards do you want to discard when the opponent plays a Refurbished Familiar? Something like that. Also in this deck, this is a general Magic skill, but I think in Control decks it's especially important, and that is Threat Assessment. And I sort of just talked about it, but just at any given point determining, is this something that I want to prevent or remove, or is this something that I want to allow to happen to deal with it later? If it is something that I want to respond to right now, how am I going to do that? Am I going to counter it? Am I going to destroy it? Am I going to chump block it? Something like that. And then, furthermore, if I'm not going to deal with it right now, what are the consequences of that? How much damage will I take? How much card advantage will the opponent get? Do I already have a card in my hand that can deal with this card more efficiently later, or am I trying to top deck or dig for it? So, Threat Assessment, don't always counterspell everything that you can. There was an Affinity game where I was trying to counterspell every single one of their artifacts. Unfortunately, they were able to climb their way back into that game, I think after like a mull to 5, because they got the right top decks. I'm not sure in retrospect if I was playing correctly or not, but that was, pretty aggressive use of my answers. You can also be conservative under the right conditions. And then finally, understand your win and loss condition. And this largely comes into when to deploy the Serpentine Curve. So under ideal circumstances, you wait to play Serpentine Curve until you have 20 instants and sorceries in your graveyard, so you can Rite of Consumption it and get the OTK, right? But it doesn't always come up that way. Sometimes you just need to play this as a big creature to block or swing at them with. They might be forced to block it and lose some of their aggression. So it really depends on the matchup. In the mono-red matchup, if I have time to play Serpentine Curve and I'm out of other things I would rather be doing, I'll often play this as like an 8/8 or a 10/10, something like that. It's still big enough to swing at them and kill them in 2 or 3 hits. It is essentially of infinite size to that kind of deck. They don't really play hard removal, at least in game 1. So against that matchup, I'll play it early, but against a matchup that has a lot of counter magic, or a lot of hard removal, things like that, I'll be a little bit more careful with the Serpentine Curve, and I'll only deploy it if I have counter magic to pair with it. And even then, I would still prefer to wait until I have the Rite of Consumption in my hand as well. I wouldn't feign to be an authority on this deck. Obviously, I'm still a bit of a novice, but I made a couple of suggestions for changes that I would personally employ if I were going to continue playing this deck, just based on my experience so far. I'm not saying this is right or not, but I'll show you the changes that I made. First, I opted to switch out one Behold the Multiverse for a Dihada's Ploy. I really wanted to fit this card in. If you're not familiar, it's 1 blue-black for draw 2, discard a card. You gain a life equal to the number of cards you've discarded this turn. When you jumpstart it, you discard a card before you carry out the rest of the effect, and then you discard a card after. So if you pair both halves of Dihada's Ploy together and do them on the same turn, you'll actually heal 4. But for each Lorien Revealed that you cycle, or for each Ash Barrens that you cycle that turn, you'll heal 2 more life. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but healing 6 or 8 life can make all the difference in a game of Magic. I really like Dihada's Ploy. I've been playing it in Dimir Fairies, the really heavy control version that Barf has been playing on MTGO, and I would employ it here as well, just so I have some main deck life gain. And I decided to take out the Behold the Multiverse just because it's a similar card. Both cards draw 2. Behold the Multiverse obviously allows a little bit more hand sculpting through scrying, but Dihada's Ploy, if you can mill this with a Consider and, use it later, you can discard it to opponent's discard effects. The cards that you're pitching for the Dahada's Ploy that can actually be helpful as well because you want to get your instants and sorceries into the graveyard. I just think there are a couple of neat synergies in the deck that support it. Oh, and by the way, it also works with the cycling from the Suffocating Fumes. That's also a discard. And then in the sideboard, I made a couple of other changes. Number one was I put in Steel Sabotages for annuls. I just like how Steel Sabotage can answer an artifact that's already out, especially a 3/3 indestructible flyer from Kenku Artificer. Because I took out the annuls, and that makes me a little bit weaker to the Boggles matchup, I've added a second copy of Extract a Confession, and I've also put in a Bojuka Bog as another answer to Mono Blue Terror. I got pretty rocked by that deck in this league. I don't know if that was just variance, but I'm going to tweak the sideboard a little bit to help against it. What I've pulled out is a copy of Drown in Sorrow. I'm now at just 3 between the main and sideboard instead of 4 total. And I have taken out 1 copy of Blue Blast. I took out the 1 of Hydro Blast. I don't know if that's right, but against Mono Red, I still have 4 Blue Blast and 2 Drown in Sorrow, as well as Unexpected Fangs. That's 7 cards boarded in. I think that's pretty reasonable, and it's sort of hard to fit more sometimes. So there you go with the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the kind of deck where it's sort of like, I have all the fun, you have none of the fun. But if any of y'all like to troll sometimes, you like to, play these decks that are a little bit sadistic, maybe you should give it a try as well. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Pauper content just like this, and I will see you in the next video.